Do you ever wake up and feel like something's just missing? Not pain, not illness, but that quiet, hollow feeling, like a spark has gone out and you can't quite name why. You go about your morning, make coffee, maybe check the weather, but somewhere deep inside, there's a sense of emptiness. And it can be hard to admit even to yourself. Here's something that might surprise you. That feeling, it's more common than you think, especially after retirement. You spent decades working, building routines, meeting deadlines, juggling responsibilities. And now that the pace has slowed, it's easy to feel unanchored, as if the ground beneath your feet has shifted. But the good news, no, the great news is that you don't have to stay stuck in that space. You still have the power right now to create a life that feels deeply meaningful and emotionally strong. And it all begins with your daily rituals. Not big changes, not overwhelming plans, just a few simple, intentional habits that can light that spark again and boost your mood, day by day. In this video, we're going to gently walk through 5 of the most powerful rituals you can begin practicing today. Ones that don't require expensive memberships or massive life overhauls, just a little awareness and a willingness to try. So let's ease into the first one together. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you started your morning before the world came rushing in? No TV, no phone, just you, quietly present, maybe with a cup of tea or your hands wrapped around a warm mug of coffee. That's where the first daily ritual begins, creating a moment of calm just for yourself before anything else enters your day. You see, most people wake up and immediately reach for their phones. Within minutes, they're reading the news, checking texts, or scrolling social media. And while that might seem harmless, all that noise floods your mind before you've even had time to center yourself. It sets the tone for a scattered, anxious day. But imagine waking up and doing this instead. You sit by a window, take a few deep breaths, and just notice the world around you. Maybe you look at the morning light dancing across the table. Maybe you quietly reflect on something you're grateful for. A grandchild's laugh, a favorite song, the comfort of your own home. This gentle moment grounds you. It says, I'm here, I'm alive, and this moment matters. You don't need incense or meditation cushions. You just need you. Even 5 minutes of calm can change the rhythm of your whole day. And over time, this tiny practice becomes a powerful anchor, a signal to your mind and heart that peace begins with you. Now, once that calm has settled in, there's something else that naturally lifts your emotional strength. It's something so simple, we often overlook it. Movement. Not exercise for weight loss or fitness goals, but movement as a way to reconnect with joy. I'm not talking about intense gym sessions or pushing your limits. I mean gentle, intentional movement that feels good. Think about swaying to your favorite oldies in the kitchen while making breakfast, or walking outside and letting the sun kiss your skin as you breathe in the morning air. Even just stretching your arms above your head while standing at the sink. These small movements wake up the body, and more importantly, they wake up the spirit. You see, when we stop moving, our emotions tend to get stuck too. It becomes easier to feel tired, unmotivated, even a little down. But when we move, even just a little, it signals to the brain, hey, we're still here. Life's still happening. Let's keep going. Try adding just one small movement ritual to your morning. Maybe it's turning on music while you tidy up, or stepping out to water a few plants. Don't do it because you should. Do it because it helps you feel alive. And as you bring this gentle rhythm into your morning, a few moments of quiet, a little joyful movement, you might notice a shift inside, a little more lightness, a little more energy. You're building something, one moment at a time, but it doesn't stop there, because there's another ritual, one that might sound almost too simple, yet it's one of the most powerful emotional tools we have as human beings, and that's connection. Now let me pause here and say this. Not all connection looks the same. Maybe you're not surrounded by family. Maybe your closest friend moved away or a loved one has passed, and it can feel like opportunities for connection have thinned out with age. But connection doesn't always mean deep conversations or big social events. It can be as simple as chatting with the barista when you grab your morning coffee, waving to a neighbor as you take a stroll, sending a short message to someone you haven't spoken to in a while, just to say, you crossed my mind today. These small moments, they matter. They remind you that you're part of something bigger, that you still belong. And if you've been feeling a little isolated lately, you're not alone. But isolation, when left unchecked, can quietly wear down your emotional strength. It's like a slow drip, draining your spirit. That's why reaching out, even in tiny ways, becomes a kind of medicine. And it works both ways. When you reach out, you often brighten someone else's day too. That spark you're trying to reignite, it just might come alive in someone else, thanks to you. So, as you begin to build these daily rituals, a quiet morning, joyful movement, and simple moments of connection, something beautiful starts to happen. You're no longer waiting for life to feel better. You're creating it with your own hands, your own choices, one breath at a time. Now that your day is beginning with more calm, more movement, and those little sparks of human connection, let's turn inward for a moment. Because even with all the external changes we make, Our inner dialogue, what we say to ourselves when no one's listening, has incredible power. And that brings us to the next daily ritual, conscious self-talk. You might be thinking, self-talk? I'm not the kind of person who talks to myself. But here's the thing, we all do. Sometimes it's quiet, almost invisible. Other times it's louder than we realize. It's that little voice that says, you're too old to try something new. Or, why bother? No one notices anyway. And over time, those messages, especially the negative ones, become part of the background music of our lives. But what if, just once a day, you paused and spoke to yourself with kindness? What if you treated yourself the way you'd speak to a dear friend going through a tough time? Imagine standing in front of the mirror and saying, you're doing better than you think. You've made it through so much, and you're still showing up. Or reminding yourself, today is a new chance. I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be present. Even writing down a sentence or two in a little notebook can be transformative. Something like, I am allowed to rest. Tesipli, I am allowed to grow. I am allowed to start again. You're not trying to fake happiness or ignore real challenges. You're simply giving your mind a more compassionate place to rest, because the words you use with yourself, they shape how you feel. And how you feel shapes how you show up for the world. So start gently. Choose one kind phrase to say to yourself each morning, or whenever you feel that old critical voice creeping in. Over time, you'll notice a shift. Less tension, more grace. Less pressure, more peace. And while this internal shift is quietly working its magic, there's one more beautiful ritual that can make your emotional strength bloom in ways you might not expect. It's the practice of purposeful giving. Now, don't let that phrase scare you. Giving doesn't mean grand gestures or donating huge amounts of time or money. It means looking around your world, your everyday life, and asking, where can I add just a little light? Maybe it's writing a birthday card to someone who rarely gets one. Maybe it's holding the door a little longer or offering a compliment to a stranger at the grocery store. Sometimes it's picking up the phone and checking in on someone who's been quiet lately. Giving is powerful because it reminds us that we still matter, that we still have value, something to offer, even when the world tries to tell us otherwise. And what's truly magical? Giving not only uplifts others, it transforms you. Studies have shown that even small acts of kindness release chemicals in the brain that reduce stress and increase feelings of happiness. It's like a natural dose of emotional medicine, and it doesn't cost a thing. One woman I spoke with shared that every Sunday she bakes a small batch of muffins and leaves them at the door of an elderly neighbor who lives alone. She said, it's not about the muffins. It's about saying, you're seen and you're not forgotten. And week after week, that simple act gave her a sense of purpose that no retirement plan ever could. So ask yourself, what's one tiny thing I can give today? Not out of obligation, but from the heart. Because the truth is, giving gives back. And in giving to others, we often give ourselves the greatest gift, meaning. When you begin to layer these rituals together, a peaceful start, joyful movement, moments of connection, kind self-talk, and intentional giving, you're building more than just habits. You're building emotional strength, the kind that carries you through hard days, the kind that reminds you who you are, the kind that holds you steady when life gets unpredictable. And no matter where you are on your journey, it's never too late to begin. Maybe you're just starting to explore this season of life. Maybe retirement hasn't been what you expected, or maybe you've carried grief, loneliness, or worry on your shoulders for longer than you care to admit. That's okay. Truly, it's okay. Because today, right now, you can take the smallest step toward change. A breath, a smile, a kind word to yourself or someone else. That's how strength is built, moment by moment. And here's the secret. You don't need to do it perfectly. You just need to do it consistently. Even if it's messy, even if you forget some days, what matters most is that you return to these small, loving rituals again and again. Like watering a plant, not too much, not all at once, just enough every day to help it grow. You are not too old, you are not too late. You are still becoming. And these rituals, they're the soil, the sunlight, the nourishment to help you bloom in this beautiful new chapter. By now, you're probably starting to sense it, that soft, quiet shift within you, like a light slowly turning back on. It's not flashy or loud, it's steady, gentle, and it's real. Because as you start showing up for yourself with these small, loving actions, every morning, every day, you're rewriting the story of what life after retirement can feel like. And there's one more ritual, a final piece to this emotional puzzle that ties everything together. It's the one we often resist the most, because it asks us to pause, to listen, to feel. This last ritual is reflection. A few quiet minutes at the end of the day to simply notice, how did today feel? What did I need? What lifted me up or pulled me down? You see, so many of us have spent our lives in motion, caring for others, chasing tasks, checking off to-do lists. We were taught to keep going, to be strong, and to push through. But after 60, something else becomes more powerful, the ability to slow down and reflect. Because in that stillness, we start to really hear ourselves again. It doesn't have to be dramatic. You don't need to write a long journal entry or meditate for an hour. Just take 5 minutes in the evening. Sit somewhere quiet. Let the TV stay off just for a little while. And ask yourself, what was one good moment today? It could be something small. The way the sunlight hit your porch, a smile from a stranger, the satisfaction of folding laundry with music on in the background. And then ask, what felt hard today? And don't judge it. Just name it. Maybe you felt lonely after lunch. Maybe you didn't have much energy. Maybe you scrolled through old photos and felt a wave of sadness. That's okay. You're not weak for feeling those things. You're human. The goal of this reflection ritual isn't to fix everything. It's to give your inner world a place to breathe. Because when you start acknowledging your emotional landscape instead of burying it under distractions, something powerful happens. You begin to understand yourself again, and that understanding becomes strength. If you'd like, you can keep a little notebook by your bed. Call it your evening check-in. Just write a few lines each night. No pressure, no rules. Over time, you'll start to notice patterns. Maybe certain habits help you sleep better. Maybe certain conversations leave you feeling more hopeful. You'll get to know yourself again, not as who you used to be, but as who you're becoming now. And what a gift that is. Because here's the beautiful truth. Emotional strength after retirement isn't about pretending to be happy all the time. It's not about forcing smiles or staying busy just to avoid the silence. It's about learning to live with your emotions, not against them. To sit with your joy and your sadness. To celebrate your wins and forgive your stumbles. To meet yourself day after day with gentle honesty. Let's take a breath together right now. You've just taken in 5 simple, soulful rituals, 5 quiet but powerful ways to care for your emotional well-being. Starting your mornings with calm and presence. Moving your body with joy, not judgment. Connecting, genuinely, even in small ways, with others. Speaking to yourself with kindness and compassion. And ending your day with reflection, honesty, and grace. None of these are fancy. None require more than a few minutes, but each one is a thread. And when woven together, they create a kind of emotional fabric that can hold you through the ups, the downs, and everything in between. And I want you to hear this, truly hear it. You are not done growing. You are not past your prime. This chapter of life isn't a slow fade. It's a new rhythm, a quieter, deeper kind of richness that only comes from lived experience, from wisdom, from having seen life's beauty and its pain and still choosing to wake up and try again. There is so much still waiting for you, so much beauty in the everyday, so much strength in your heart. All you have to do is show up for it. One breath, one small ritual, one choice at a time. And if today, all you do is take one small step, that's enough. You are enough. If this video spoke to you in any way, if it reminded you of your worth or gave you a moment of peace, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comments. Let this space be a place of encouragement, not just for you, but for others walking this same journey. And if you found this helpful, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're building a community here, a place where you're seen, supported, and reminded that it's never too late to live with joy, purpose, and emotional strength. Here's to you, your heart, your wisdom, your next chapter. Here's to living your best life at any age.